What's happened in our market since our housing market since the last time we spoke, Mark? I noticed that the auction rates in Sydney at least dropped to a 2-year low, I believe, on the weekend.
Yeah, that's right. So our clearance rates at auctions dropped to a 2-year low. They were slightly up from the previous week, but you have to remember this is off a much lower base. So if you go back 12 months from last weekend, there were about 2,100 auctions or properties put up for auction with a 74% clearance rate. If you fast forward to last weekend, you're looking at 1,500 places up for auction with around a 58% clearance rate. So not only is the denominator lower, but the numerator is lower too. So, it's basically saying vendors are not putting properties on the market because they're concerned they're not going to get their price. We get this mismatch of vendors' expectations of what they think their property should be getting if they want to sell it, and with the price that purchasers are prepared to pay, which ultimately means you get less places available for sale.
Right, so have you noticed when it comes to lending that people are taking out smaller amounts at the moment because they're just going ahead with renos, or are they just not taking loans out at all?
If you look at, it's different around the country. So places again like Adelaide are actually killing it. There are a lot more people too, by the way, that are borrowing money to buy in places like Adelaide, but they're borrowing out of Sydney and or Melbourne, or they're borrowing out of Sydney and Melbourne, that's where they live, to buy in places like Queensland. So we're getting this. This is a very unusual sort of pattern, a pattern we've never really seen before. But investors are now looking, or they're cherry picking. They're very clever. They know how to work the internet. They're not even going in to inspect the places. They're doing it all online, and they're buying these properties. For example, you can buy a house on a block of land in Adelaide and have no trouble renting it out for $600,000. That's sort of, you can't even buy an apartment in Sydney for that amount of money.
No,
so
that's right.
These are the sort of mismatches and the way people are arbitraging the market, which is what people do in share markets. But now buyers, investors are working out how to arbitrage the market. And it shows like yours, Pete, that tell them where to buy.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's why we have experts like you, well-respected experts, and I appreciate that, Mark Bouris. Always good to chat. We'll talk to you soon.